Am I on? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us at Wednesday night, Sharky Waters Wednesday night dive. Tonight in the house with us is a special guest, Nathan, who I call Nato Cosmo. DJ Cosmo traveled up from California all the way just to be here for this specific episode to watch the Battle Royale rematch against me and Tori Hayes. Back from season 1, do you remember what episode?
Nope.
6, 7, or 8. Check the archives.
Find your signature on that.
Right.
The last time we did that, it took forever. 6. It was. I could see it from here. Yeah, episode 6. In the house, keeping us in line and on time, as always, is Eric the Clock Doctor. Big shout out to him for letting me use his pool cue, this Lucasi hybrid with a flex point unilock shaft.
The OB shaft?
Do you know what kind of tip we're working with today?
Nope.
Mystery tip. We're gonna go with a medium soft. I'm gonna use this in the drills that we're doing today. We're gonna do a drill similar to last week's. It's gonna be a spot shot drill. We're just gonna put the ball on the spot, and you get ball in hand, and you see how many times in a row you can make it and try and keep track of the number. I did a whopping 2 in warm-ups. Tor is with us, the producer, with all the wires and gadgets back there.
Yo.
And then back from Hawaii, aloha, is Jacqueline. Thanks for coming here tonight. Eric, you want to flip the timer? Everybody, if you've watched the show, you know the drill. We've got 30 minutes of open swim. We're going to casually mess around and talk with Tori. When that sand timer's up, he and I are going to match up for a race to 7 and 9 ball for the Shark Attack. Like I was saying, it's a spot shot drill. I tried it a couple times. I tried it from the left-hand side. I'm going to switch it up and go to the right. So we get ball in hand, anywhere in the kitchen. What made me think about doing this is I was playing a ring game with Matt Wells and my team captain for my tap league. Scott, and we kept giving ball. We kept scratching, and then the ball wound up being on at the bottom. You know, in a ring game, you wind up spotting it, and then you get it in the kitchen. It's like, man, if you get good at the shot, you can do pretty good in a ring game. I'm gonna take a look at it too, just for a second. I'm gonna line up that contact point to go in the pocket from here, and then I'm gonna look at it from here, because it's really not much more than a half ball hit. You know what I mean? Meaning like the left-hand side of the ball is just barely on the center line of the 2 ball. So I'm gonna keep that in mind while I try and shoot it. A little too thick. So I hit it a little too thick. I could put a little right-hand spin on it. That could maybe help throw it. Or I could obviously change my aiming point. I'm bound to hit one.
Sooner or later.
Maybe it's because maybe I should start with a different ball, like the 2 ball or the 9 ball.
The money ball.
You know, Skylar Woodward just played Earl Strickland a race to 100 and beat him 100 to 48. And he did like 27 I think they said 27 in a row on this shot. I can't even get one. That guy's dropping 27 in a row. That one was way off.
Way off there.
All right, one more try and I'm gonna make you do it. All right, there's one.
There you go, you're on to something.
Uh-oh. I better let it go. Just in case it was gonna be a scratch. See, ideally, I could just replicate the exact same thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That means I'll almost scratch. I wonder if I can change that up to where I can make it and not be almost scratching every time.
Yeah.
Try and put a little less follow on it.
Looks like you gotta go back
Change
what
my
you're
angle.
just doing.
Yeah. All right, you try it. I'll give you the red ball.
It's my favorite color.
I know.
I'm down to make it down.
Too easy. How much have you played since the last time you were on the show?
A lot. Too much, I think.
APA qualifiers?
Not a lot of them. I know we just had regionals.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't make no balls. Played some good competition though, it was fun.
Who'd you play?
I played Brett, Dale Altenberg, Devin Walsworth, and that was the end of my tournament.
All right, there's one. You gotta get them in a row.
In a row. Now you tell me.
There's 2.
Other than that, trying to go up to a 7.
Right, now you were a 6 last time, right?
Still am.
What do you think is the hump that you gotta get over?
I don't know how they do it nowadays. I was on a roll and never went up. I get called a sandbagger a lot by a lot of players I play.
Yeah, it's a weird phenomenon though, to have people just accuse you of sandbagging as opposed to acknowledging that everyone has ups and downs. That was 4.
That was good.
Yeah, let me try one.
That was good. Not too shabby.
What's the next big event you're looking forward to?
The Tracy Hampton second annual memorial tournament.
When is that?
I'm thinking about doing it next month. Next month.
Where will it be?
Latitude, my home bar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was his home bar as well. So,
Of course.
It's only right we hosted there.
Keep hitting it too thick. Trying to make
Maybe I needed to spot it for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, maybe not.
Too much correction. Some of the stuff I'm like working with the cue issue here. I'm like playing with this new pool cue, trying to figure out what it does whenever I put different action onto it.
It's right there though. Not missing it by much.
It's close. It's enough. That's all that counts. A miss is a miss. Oh, I really thought I hit that one good.
Yeah.
I was in my head though, I was thinking about how I used to sweat, like performing well and doing the drills well and the open swim on shark attacks and stuff. And nowadays, like in the middle of my day, I'm just like, I'll warm up in the shark. Just like figuring out the new cue and figuring out the drill and working out the mechanics because I haven't played since last night.
Nice.
I didn't play well last night.
You was at Brian's?
No, I got a Tuesday tap league team that I play on now.
Oh, okay.
I played a guy named Kyle from Clubhouse.
Okay.
He shot real well, real impressive.
Is that your home location out there?
No, we're playing out of 15th Street.
Oh, okay.
But I think there's 3 evenings that we've got to go to Clubhouse.
Nice.
Maybe 2. There's 2 in a row.
There you go.
See, when I was shooting, I'm shooting them, they're going 2 rails, 1, 2, and then coming off and almost going in the opposite corner. When you were shooting them, it was just going 1 rail and then coming down by the side pocket. Put a little more control to what I'm doing.
Actually, Frank Roker taught me how to do that.
What's that?
This shot going down, straight down off the rail.
Tell me your secret.
Just the opposite English. You want to come that way, put the left on it. That way, put the right on it.
That makes sense.
Practicing. I've been practicing with him lately. Had some good rounds on Sunday. Hit a lot of balls on Sunday.
At Latitude too?
Yeah.
There we go. Watch, I'm gonna go back and forth here. See if that helps me. I'm shooting with Eric's cue because mine got stolen. My whole cue case.
I know the pain.
When was the last time years ago? I almost don't know anybody who hasn't had pool cues stolen. It's such a bummer of a thing to happen and an unfortunate reality in the pool
Maybe
world.
when I first really got into pool, my
Right.
sticks got stolen. I left them out and came back and they was like magically disappeared.
What do you mean magically disappeared?
They wasn't there.
In the bar?
In the bar.
Yeah.
And it was a valuable stick that I never can get back that was in that case.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had a cue in there in the case that was super sentimental to me. On the first season, I played Jay Bernberg and won a pool cue and gave it to Tor.
Nice.
And it matched a pool cue that I have. That pool cue is in the case. It's a Joss pool cue. I suppose we could track the serial number to that cue down, right? So we know the serial number of this one specific pool cue that was in the cue case. Go ahead, try again.
Try again.
And then I had another pool cue in there. It was my break cue. It was a gift to me from Sean Lewis.
Nice.
So it's a real bummer about that one too. And things can be replaced and materialistic stuff. Good shot. And certainly, like, Sean's one of my friends who's like a good. Our friendship is based on like subtle reminders of life and things like that. He wouldn't want to see me getting too bent out of shape about it, I'm sure. So I try not to. Thanks again, Eric.
Tori, yeah, of course, no problem, man. Always happy to help. Tori, can you tell us a little bit more about what you were saying with the outside English to help with this shot? And kind of what that means in simplistic terms?
So when I'm down on the stroke, I look at it. What I do when I'm down on the stroke, I try to look at the light that's got into the pocket and use the opposite English on the cue ball to avoid scratching on either corner.
When you say opposite English, you mean if the ball is cutting to the right, you
I'll go
use
left.
Yeah. English on the cue, okay.
Like on here, I'm up top left. So the cue ball can come back down left.
And that helps prevent from it coming back into the corners on this other side?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Like it depends on where my next shot was at. So if my next shot, the object ball was down right here, that's why I put the left on it. So
What if it's over there by you on that side?
Well, just some right. And hopefully it come back down the rail.
Yeah.
Or straight top. Sometimes that work.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to go for, was straight top. I was just messing with putting top on it and then putting a little bit of draw to it. I'll put the pressure money ball out there for you. See if you can hang with that one.
That's like dollar signs right there.
Yeah. Oh.
Titties.
We call those fins around here, Mr. Hayes. I'm sure you have already been informed.
See, can you get the money ball?
All right.
Uh-oh. It's not looking good for you. There we go. Ooh. Close.
Yeah, it was saved by the fin right there.
Close. Come on. You
Looked
like
like it
them
was
side
gonna go in.
pockets.
It was with a little top. I was trying to clean it up there a little bit, but I think it was the angle I took. All right, last try.
Tori, it's been a minute since you were here last time, but last time you were here, you were like whooping ass on this table, man. How your game's been out of the bars and stuff lately?
Oh, they've been pretty steady, you know. Try to maintain my composure, strokes. Been popping up a lot lately during league and causing me to miss a lot of easy shots. I've been trying to get that under control.
Popping up like standing up early?
Like when I'm not staying fully down when I stroke. So when I stroke,
Gotcha.
I'll pop right up and it messes me up a lot. So I've been working on
I did that a couple times last night. My teammates were like, what was that?
Just been trying to follow through with all my strokes. That and keeping a level cue. That's about it.
There's one.
Well, it shows. Yeah, you're playing well. Told you.
All right, throw him out there. Your turn.
Commentator's curse.
So I'm gonna throw him out there. It's your shot. Last time you were here, we like barely got to touch up into the Chicago subject where you're from. I'm like pretty fascinated about that place, and I think I may or may not have mentioned that. Like one of the only things I know about there is the Chicago flag.
Okay.
I don't know if you know this, Eric, that when like if you work for the Chicago Police Department or Chicago Fire Department, and you die in the line of duty, they don't bury you with an American flag over your casket. They put a Chicago flag over you.
Nice.
It's like a really tight-knit form of connectivity in the community. I don't think our city has a flag, you know, but there's like a lot to the element of bridging people together through flagging, and that's like what flags are for.
That's a really remarkable thought. Here's my experience with Chicago, actually.
Awesome. Let's hear it.
There was a time in my life where I was playing competitive Magic the Gathering and actually, went out there and performed in a nationals competition. It was a stunning view of the city as well as, the competitive nature of the tabletop gaming community.
I had no idea.
Hardcore competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
We also went to the museum. That was pretty sick too.
Yeah.
And Lollapalooza was happening. So.
Yeah.
So what I heard
Hop
about
in town, actually, when you think about all the things that are going on at once, actually, that's remarkable.
What I heard in other Chicago news is the FCC recently had an auction of all of the radio frequencies that TV can broadcast on, and that people like in Cosmo in my industry, like with wireless mics, what we can broadcast wireless microphones on. And Chicago got absolutely wrecked in the settlement in their available frequencies that like professional work can be broadcast on that's not TV or not internet, shrunk by like 70%. So the entertainment industry took a huge hit. High-level performers have wireless microphones, wireless headphones. Huge changes in our music world out in Chicago.
Yeah. And
How recent of news is this?
The changeover is happening right now. I think the auction has been known for a couple weeks or a couple months, but the final decisions are like within the last 30 days, I'm pretty sure.
Wow, trip out.
Seattle is actually doing its test run on the 18th. So in a couple of days here.
Okay, talk
King
to me.
and Cairo, I think, are changing their channels, and it's a huge bandwidth for a TV station that big. So
Okay.
it changes like a lot of the landscape of like radio and all that stuff.
How's that going to affect people like me and Tori?
It's gonna affect.
Crazy.
It's gonna affect anyone that has to use a call center for anything, for
Okay.
example. So technical support, people's like headsets and what they use at the office is gonna change.
The schools that use Wi-Fi in the auditorium, you know what I'm saying? Churches, another big one.
I was on a technical call waiting for two different institutions today. So that sounds like immediately up my ballpark.
Nice.
Tori, when was the last time you went back to Chicago? Speaking of Chicago.
I haven't been back since my father's funeral, actually.
When was that?
2012.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
A lot of my immediate family, they don't live there no more, so I don't really have no reason to go visit. So.
Is all the family here now?
No.
That was a good shot.
Arizona,
Okay.
Minnesota. They all moved out of the area.
Yeah.
I don't blame them. Chicago took a turn for the worse.
Well, Chicago's it's certainly got like a bad rap in the crime sense, kind of going full circle back to the criminality of an area. People always use it in the like big gun debate as it being like a democratically ran state.
Mm-hmm.
It's like notoriously democratic, and so it's got like pretty strict gun laws. But then the statistics show that the gun crimes and the gun murder rates, more specifically, are like through the roof compared to anywhere else. I'm not trying to belittle any type of murder statistic by no means, because any loss of life is a tragic loss.
Yep.
But mathematically speaking, those statistics don't really consider. Go ahead, shoot a ball in hand. They don't even really. They don't factor in like a per capita evaluation there, where there's like millions and millions of people. Eric, can we get how many people are in Chicago? People are in Chicago, where you're looking at I think the ugly statistic is like 500 a year. Like 500 murders a year happen in the city of Chicago. I think in like a good year, it's like 300, which seems horrible to say in like the wording of it all even.
Yeah.
But
it looks like in 2019 here, the population of Chicago, 2.74 million.
Yeah, so 2 million people, and you got 500 of them being murdered by other ones. Versus that's like the per capita ratio, right? You take the number of murders and you divide it by the population. That number is not nearly as high as say some small weird town in the middle of Arkansas where everybody knows everybody and there's only 400 people but 5 murders in a year. That's an alarming disconnection and evaluation of connectivity is what I'm saying. I'm curious about your stance on it in the Chicago sense of being from Chicago because people use it as this limelight of horrible example, but it's not really true, is it?
I mean, the numbers don't lie. It's like kids can't even go outside and play because they're scared of somebody's coming through going to shoot up one of their rivals or something, It's innocent little kids at the park getting shot.
Because they have friends who that's happened to them. And
so,
yeah.
It's bad and it needs some love to come through Chicago for it to change, man.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, it wasn't nowhere near as bad as it is now. There was more activities to do when I was growing up, more hobbies. Nowadays, you're in competition with everybody.
It's longer, Eric?
Just your standard length there.
Yeah, well.
Does it feel longer?
Well, yeah, but I kind of bunked it up against the wall in an unusual way that I didn't feel normal about. It all feels different, What is that? Deborah Gross is over there showing off a new pull cue herself.
New shaft.
She got the Revo.
Nice. I don't know if you're ready for that type of power, Miss Gross.
I seen her improving in her game last night.
She probably is.
She's making some awesome shots with it.
We played in a tournament at Mike Sell's house up in the Des Moines area, and it was like it was a Scotch doubles, and she played with Cassandra. And he only needed one more win because it was handicapped, and so it put sweat on them for the rest of the match.
I can see them sweating now doing that.
Dom, you got to remind me, man, who's our crew match this week?
Who won? Eric won. So it's going to be...
Yeah, that's right,
Yeah, she dogged that 9-ball.
Well, what about Jacqueline? Jacqueline's here so
ready.
early.
She's fresh. No way. You could get a quick one.
I think we gotta make a choice here because our sand timer.
Oh yeah, we're out of
a couple
sand.
minutes ago.
That's it for our warm-up story. Let's go, Jacqueline and Eric.
All right.
Well,
Well, folks, we're going to take a short break. When we return, we'll have our crew match. And after that, we've got the shark attack, all of that and more on Sharky Waters, The Night Dive. Short break. Eric and Jacqueline are getting everything set up. Gonna toss the coin here real quick. Jacqueline calls VIP, and it does land VIP, so she will break. Of course, you're hearing Tor, the producer here in the commentary booth, light on your, I understand you're a scientist, your sound studies.
Oh, Tor, I think what you're airing towards is, yes, a, wonderful character that I portray. It's also my music project. But, yeah, man, It's going well. Actually, decided to say I've been writing a lot of music with my good friends while I've been up here visiting with family. Tor here to my right, known him for a long time, and right here enjoying some actual classes pertaining to some of the stuff that you're hearing and listening to tonight. We just went to, I guess you could say, call it a wireless master class for Shure, the microphone companies, and we learned a lot of great, inspiring stuff that's hopefully making it sound just a little bit more crystal clear on your end as we implement some of those new findings. How are you feeling about that experience today, Tor?
Really fantastic. Big shout out to Shure. The stuff we were talking about earlier with the radio frequencies and the TV channels and all that is stuff that we learned in this master class. We're both sound engineers outside of this stuff, running sound for concerts, festivals, touring DJs. I meant to ask Tori about his DJing. He's also a talented DJ, is my understanding.
Try to get a SoundCloud out of him, but this man likes to keep it underground, from what I understand. So listen closely, people, when we get a little bit of insight into his mind. So, 5 on.
We've got some side bets going. Jacqueline had a pretty good break and got the 1 ball in. Nothing yet. Eric leaves her a little bit glued behind the 3. You can see her going around and surveying the situation there.
The action is hot here. We got some money stacking up now. Betting on what may become.
Nice little combo off of the 2.
Beautiful.
Little bit of an odd leave. So that 9 ball is kind of right in the path that she would want to be at, but so, you know, that you can see there's a little fisheye to the view on the camera here, and sometimes those what seem like shots that you can't make, you actually do have a tiny little sliver of that, but no.
We spot that, right?
Spot the 9 ball, that's right, yeah.
On the head spot?
That is correct. And ball in hand to Eric, unfortunately for Jacqueline. So yeah, Nathan, you and Dom came up together professionally about a decade ago and used to play a lot of pool together in the original Clean Slate Billiards business. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. We actually originally met both working at the same restaurant for a bit. He was, doing it as a waiter there, and I was working in the kitchen, and we just hit it off and would always play after work every day. And then, went from that to, I'm just being there and bouncing ideas while he's planning out this, business that later blossomed into, real good time.
Eric just misses the 3 on that long corner straightaway. Goes back and a little kiss off with the cue ball. Leaves Jacqueline a off the rail or something. Unfortunately, that 5's kind of obstructing. Let's see what she does here. Nice little safe. Kind of leaves Eric with an even more awkward angle than she had just a second ago. That was pretty mature move there.
I'm not the strongest pool player. I don't get much time to play nowadays, unfortunately, like I was back in the day. But definitely I prefer to try and play it as safe as possible. Just kind of take it easy there, because those are those super long ones. Sometimes, it's better just to kind of let them handle it.
Absolutely. You pool is something you can play late into your life, and I think there's always room to improve. It's something that's not particularly taxing on the body compared to other competitive sports, table games even.
Mm-hmm. I was
like golf, for example. 3 in the corner by Eric.
Nice. Yeah, I was really hoping to get one a pool table, even a small one in my house now that things have been moved around and some of that furniture got moved out. You saw that on your last visit, but
yeah, down in Oakland, right?
Yeah, totally.
I'm sneaking into the commentary booth with my 2 favorite human beings.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Oh, that's
wow,
primo cheese right there.
I can almost already taste it.
Overcompensate the angles.
Is it raw or melted cheese? When we say does that apply? Melted is the final version. I'm gonna go for that.
Eric sitting in the corner after missing a shot, giving his opponent advice on how to play pool better.
It's gonna be a spicy one, ladies and gentlemen, tonight.
The irony.
I see Jacqueline really surveying the situation.
Look out for that, too, for like a little insurance policy. That'd be wild.
I talked to my State Farm agent about that. I thought,
You know, you could save a little money if you go Geico.
oh, don't get me started on Geico, dude.
What do you mean?
Little fender bender.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
That was a Geico deal, huh?
that guy. No, I'm not with them. The guy that was drunk and did the crazy thing, he has Geico. And they were like, nah, dude. He said he didn't, so that must be it. I'm like, all right.
Geico right now?
That's right, dude. It's raw today, dude.
I believe the technical term is plausible deniability.
Plausible deniability.
If there's one thing that anybody can take from, my pain and suffering through all of this, it would be to get a dash cam, run that thing. Those are like $60 off of Amazon, and make sure and call the police every time, because they are really just the policy enforcers. You know what I'm saying? Don't be scared. You know what I mean? Need somebody unbiased to jot it down. You know what I mean? So that's that.
To help that policy be enforced.
My man, reiterating it.
Never thought about it that way. I'm like preconditioned to not want to have law
Exactly.
enforcement involved in anything that has to do with me. You know, any time that I can think of that I have had that experience has generally been unpleasant, or me owing money for something I felt like was unreasonable.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate reality of our society today. You know, when the police pull behind you in a car, you don't really feel safer. You don't feel like at
You
ease.
feel like a duck,
Yeah.
just
In
like the one Eric
crosshairs.
left in the corner with the 5-ball.
It's a Chinese Christmas.
I'm sorry, Dom, you were saying.
This is great. Explain these colors to me. What's going on here? I can't tell which is which. It's the Easter flavor.
Oh, a
Speaking of
little. Ooh,
Look at that.
close one.
If there was any one of those lower Bay Area earthquakes, like what happened just last week or whatever, that would have gone right in the side pocket. You guys hear about that? Boom, earthquakes, Bay Area.
Hey, no, I'm still on the police bit. Sorry, here we've got a soapbox here. I just want to introduce to the listeners and the fans of the show. To introduce, you can Google Black's Law. It's actually like a technical way that legal dialogue is written and how it's perceived. And a real cool example on. Yeah, it was a great bank shot.
Nice hit by
Absolutely
Jacqueline.
great shot with a good leave too. But going back to the Black's Law, a good example of it is that whenever a police officer reads your Miranda rights and asks you if you understand your rights, they're not asking you if you comprehend everything that they just said. They're asking you if you actually stand under their authority in what they just stated is like going to be the new moving forward of reality. And when you say yes, then they have the authority to come here and detain you. But you can resist that. I wouldn't necessarily advise that. This is not legal advice. There's actually a tremendous amount of research to be done in the sovereignty movement and disowning your government name. You can all find more of that on Google as well.
As Eric gets the 7 and scratches the cue ball, leaving Jacqueline ball in hand on the 9 ball. And as Facebook has flagged our page for being anarchist and dangerous on the watch
Technically,
list.
actually, no. All jokes aside, you can go to the FBI's website and you can look up more about the sovereignty movement.
And what it is about legally discrediting.
Jacqueline takes the
Jacqueline
win.
takes the win. Jacqueline takes the win. That was a great shot there. Eric really just kind of gave it away to her, though. A real sucker flop there that Eric did.
All right, Dom, we're going to have to pick up on this next year again because it's getting pretty deep and it's time to take a break.
Oh, we'll
When
be
we
back
return,
at
and when we get a couple of our viewers back, who I'm sure we have lost somewhere along the way. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We're going to be back after a short break. Tori versus Dom in a 9-ball race to 7. Eric and I will be commentating. We'll tell you more about that when we return after this break. All of that and more on Sharky Waters. All right, welcome back to Sharky Waters, the Night Dive. We're in the Shark Attack. I'm your co-host and producer, Tor, back here in the booth with Eric. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here. Ready to see this match. I always love watching Tori play. He's a great shooter, and he's got a good mind behind him.
Dry break this time, it looks like. Eric, you're standing in for Cassandra this week. Do you have the rules of the Shark Attack memorized?
No. But
do you want me to run down them for you?
Yeah, I would love that. Thank you for calling me out on that real quick. Go ahead and tell everyone about the rules.
That's what I'm here for, man. It's like Dom got an easy out on that first game, by the way. Did you see that?
I blinked and I missed that game, that 9-ball game that was very quick.
Yeah, so we're off to a quick start here, which is a great time to run down the rules. So this is a 9-ball race to 7 wins. So the first person to get 7 wins wins the game. You got to have a legal shot on every hit. Otherwise, that's a scratch. Any way that you can get the 9-ball in off a carom, off a combo, that's cool as well. If you scratch, it's ball in hand to your opponent. What am I forgetting here, Eric?
Of course, the 3-foul rule. 3 fouls in a row is a loss of game, but your opponent has to let you know when you're on foul 2.
That's right. We have another foul rule.
What's that?
That is if you have ball in hand and you scratch with ball in hand.
That, of course.
10 push-ups.
10 push-ups, of course, and we've seen that happen on the show. It's quite a fun treat for us crew members here when that happens.
It's like Tori's looking to combo the 9 here.
Make the 1 and hope to pull that cue ball and get a shot at the 9, you know?
Yeah, totally.
But pulled it a little bit further back away, and he's got a tough shot on the 2. Looks like a little safe for him, but didn't quite pull it off. Give Dom a nice look on the 2.
Little draw off the 2 brings him back around that 8-ball so he can see the 3.
Nice and easy on that 3, and gives a good line for the 5 there.
Good contact with the 5. Didn't quite get what he was looking for, but back to Tori now.
Makes the 5 no problem, gets that 9 moving around. Unfortunately, I think that 8-ball is between the 2, so he's going to have to kick the cue. Ooh, almost nails it right into the side pocket. Dom has a clean look here, all the way across the table.
Beautiful long send down the table. 8 goes in the corner.
Easy work of that 9-ball, thanks to the leave on the 8 there. Great shot. Great 2 run there to take the match 2-0 in Dom's favor. Big, strong break from Dom. Nothing goes in that corner pocket on the top right like he normally does. Spreads them all out, though. Leaving Tori a look on the one. Thinking combo is one of the few options here. Gets a bunch of balls moving around the table, and luckily that 6 stops right in front of the cue ball. Leading to our first jump shot of the night by Dom here.
Can't help get the feeling that was a really intentional safety there by Tori. Well played.
Just a little bit off on the line there and missed the 1, but a good jump shot over the 6 that was very close to the cue. Again, he's also using my jump cue tonight, so these are all new cues for Dom, new experiences. Dom, of course, blames the jump cue for that miss, but that's okay. We shall see in future shots what is to come. Nice shot on the 1, leaves good line on the 2.
Really nice English, brings that all the way around the 7 for the 3. A little clustered, but he gets it to fall, no problem.
Great attempt on that 4. It's hard to hit it as razor thin as he needed to make that. Cue ball goes up and down and leaves him, Dom, here a good look. If he can hit it well, he can draw back for the 5.
Corner pot on the 4. Yeah, that shot that Tori just took, I've never even been able to make that in a pool video game. And he nearly made it just here in real life. That's really tough shot.
One of my favorites are those razor thin cuts that are almost so thin that you can barely even hear them. But it's almost like the wind is pushing the ball, but cue ball or the ball is moving on.
Easy 5 in the corner. Needs to get around this 9 ball on the 6.
Good contact. Got close to the side. Cue ball got close to the corner, but unfortunately not very safe. Leaves Dom a clean look on the 6.
What I do really like about Tori's last shot is his cue ball control. How he was able to send the 6 flying in the cue ball. Ended up pretty much back where it started.
Rattles in there off the fence. Leave Dom perfect on the 8.
Little drawback off of that 8 gives him a nice, cleaner look on the 9. Hits it in the corner, and that's all she wrote for Dom's 3rd straight win.
Who's writing this?
It's like a colloquialism to say that's all she wrote. It's like an expression, right?
Yeah, I was just curious who she was in this circumstance in your mind.
Trying to think of my favorite female author, and I think
Brene Brown is a good one. Who are you going to?
I have to say, like, on a nostalgic level, J.K. Rowling. I read those Harry Potter books a lot when I was a kid.
She's just a quality person as well.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard of Harry Potter before, it's a little wizard boy who goes to wizard school, and it's great. You should check it out. Dom breaks there, no problem. Dropping the
6-ball
in the
corner pocket.
And not such a great line on the 1 there, but jumping here for the second time of the night.
Tries to jump the 4 to get to the 1 and is wide on the jump again. Eric, I'm curious, is that jump cue longer or shorter than what Dom's normally playing with? Do you know?
I believe it's the same length as he's normally used to playing with, the same butt as well, shape, but I think it's a thicker shaft potentially and definitely a different tip, and that makes a big difference.
Tori drills the 1 in the corner, no problem. Long, soft shot. Just doesn't quite get the right angle on the 2.
Leaves him pretty safe, though. That's a tough look on the 2 there.
To Daniel Salzado, excuse me, in the chat room. We're curious what you mean by in the box. If you're referring to the 2 diamond on the end of the table, yes, we are breaking within that part of the table. But if you mean something else, go ahead and chime in the chat room. Let us know what you're curious about. We'll try to answer your questions.
Nice clean kick there. Puts the 2 right in front of the 9 with a direct look to something interesting. We'll see what Dom wants to do here. Man, he went for it and almost got it. Finned out. I think if he had hit a little softer, it might have had a better chance. But leaves Tori here straight on for the 2. Hit that hard against the 9, getting it running around the table, hoping something would happen there. But leaves Dom a duck on the 3. Nice soft touch there on the 3, just barely off the rail for a good look on the 4 ball. He had to hit that one with a little bit more power to try to get the backspin he was looking for. Pull it back for the 5. Fortunately, hits the fins and pops out.
Four in the corner pocket. Now he's on the 5. Reaches for the bridge on this one.
I absolutely love when players aren't afraid to break out that bridge and use it in their favor, because it's definitely helpful when you need it.
When I first started playing, I shot so well with the bridge. I for a brief moment, entertained the idea that I would shoot with a bridge on every shot. And until I think it was Cassandra pointed out, she's like, bridges are illegal in sub leagues. So you're not gonna be able to do that forever.
That would have been interesting to see, or try actually, playing an entire game with a bridge. I think that'd be fun.
On the shots that I chose it, and of course I'm only taking it for the shots that are longer than I can reach, but I'm shooting a pretty high percentage.
Just barely misses the 7 and drops it in the corner pocket there. Give Dom a ball in hand. With a decent little spread here, a good look on these 3 balls.
Yeah. Dom might have it out here. Daniel Salzado, to answer your question there, as Dom gets that 7 in the corner pocket. We only break from within that box that you're talking about. Sometimes the slang term for that is in the kitchen. You'll hear a lot of people calling it that, more kind of in the pool community.
We call it in the tank, in the shark tank.
Oh, nice. I like it. In the deep end. It's just breaking. In 9-ball, when you get ball in hand, ball in hand means anywhere on the table. And that rule changes depending on who you're playing or what league you're playing or what game you're playing. But in our case, yeah, we only break in that box. Nice corner hit off the bank. 9-ball in that corner. Excellent finish by Dom.
Risky shot there, and he executed it perfectly, bringing the match 4-0 here.
Teresa Erickson, we're seeing that we may have a little bit of confusion on the breaking in the box comment. If you could shed some light on that, that'd be awesome.
He just commented here saying that in the box means in the 3 diamonds on end rail, as far as I know. But I've always known it my entire life as the second rail there and back. So 2 diamonds in, halfway to the side pocket, and anywhere behind that.
That's right. Yeah, we're seeing now a diagram that we're pulling up here in the commentary booth that shows the box being in that back middle section of the table within the 2 diamonds on the short rail and 3 diamonds, is it? Or 2 diamonds on the... and 2 as well on the long rail? Okay, yeah. So... misunderstanding of the terminology, but yeah, we're on the same page now. I guess in this case, no, we're not breaking in the box in here. We are breaking in the kitchen. Just to
Correct. I
clarify.
think that would be a perfect way to say it. But in the box sounds interesting. So no breaks from the rail at all outside those 2 diamonds.
Yeah, Alex in the chat room is saying 2 diamonds and back all day. I'm assuming he's referring to the in the kitchen. Oh, as Dom scratches on that back corner, unfortunately. Yeah, everyone in the chat room, let us know what's your rule for breaking. Are you in the box? Are you in the kitchen? Ball in hand, are you in the kitchen? How do you guys like to play it? Let us know.
There's even some people that play, if you scratch on the break shot, then you have to do it. That's the only time in ball in hand where you'd have to do it in the kitchen. And some people say if you scratch on the break, it's just ball in hand like any other scratch. But that would be another interesting one to see how people line up on that.
Nice, we're hearing that most 10 ball is in the box. I think Tori gets that 5 in the corner pocket there. Little double kiss. Oh, and it goes back in the opposite corner.
One of the benefits of 9-ball there is that, as they say, slop counts. Anything that goes in counts as a legal turn if you made legal contact originally.
Absolutely. Nice soft touch, but he just doesn't quite get the angle in the corner, unfortunately. Left a little bit of a duck. Dom gets it in nice and strong with the English to keep him from scratching. And unfortunately, as we say, the game of 9-ball is not about necessarily who's the most effective player, but who makes the last mistake. And unfortunately for Tori, in this case, it was Dom taking another score, putting it 5-0 here on Sharky Waters.
I'm really digging these tunes again tonight.
The playlist is good, man. Shout out to my buddy Jeff Pyrex, who is the producer of this beat that's playing right now. All the way out in Boston, I believe. Somewhere on the East Coast.
I like that funky piano in there.
4 in the corner, 8 in the side pocket. That's a nice break there for Dom.
Doesn't look like he has a very clean look on the 1. He might have to kick off the rail.
Maybe he might be able to just see some of the corner of it too. Chalks up his cue.
He's grabbing a shaping tool so he can reshape the tip on my cue before this masse shot, which is actually probably necessary. I don't normally play with that shaft. It's been quite a while, so it is in need of some rounding so that he can get good contact and get the spin that he's looking for on this little, I believe, masse shot to move around the 5 and get contact on the 1. Yeah, it did what he was hoping, but not as much, about an inch or 2 short. Makes good contact, though. Dom is really blaming my cues here. He's saying the playing cue is just terrible, and the jump cue is always hitting left for some reason. Thinks my shaft might be bent on that one, but we'll have to take a look into that. Tori makes good contact. Leaving him very close here, but I think he can still make a shot here into the corner. Those are very tough shots when the cue ball is very close to the object ball. Lining up and finding that perfect angle can be trickier. So that was well executed to leave him for the 2, no problem. And now he's looking at a shot on the 3. Great attempt on banking the 3 back into that corner and hits the 2 fins and throws it behind a mess of balls, bringing the kick into play for Tori here. Just barely misses it, goes around giving Dom ball in hand. Interesting choice by Dom here to play a very good save to get that 3 tuck behind the 7 and leave the cue ball back behind that mess, hoping to spread out those balls a little bit more, give him a ball in hand that he can have a better run on. Doesn't matter to Tori, though, because he makes a good kick and good contact.
Tori said 3 was his favorite ball, favorite color. Only seems right that he would pocket it on that shot.
Nice stop shot on that 6, leaving him for the 7. If he makes this, he rolls up on the 9. Also, folks, it's you got to think about it can't be easy to play a competitive game of pool well. A couple of guys talk about what you're doing while you're doing it. I've been on this show in that seat, in the player's seat, and it is a challenge. It can be distracting if you let it, but there are guys out there that have a very good mental focus and can zero into that game no matter what's going on around them. Example would be right there that Dom made that gorgeous shot all the way down the table while I was talking about it. So here he goes, 9 ball for game 6. Drains it, bringing the match 6-0 here on the hill. Tori's got to make a move if he wants this match to continue.
Well, we've got a little bit of money on the table here. Deborah Gross is in the house. She's got $20 on Tori, I believe. Isn't that right, Deborah?
Looks like that 8 ball is going to run and just stop on the edge, on the lip there. Just like in golf, we have a 5-second rule. We'll count it down. And it almost drops within the allotted 5 seconds, but his turn is over. Tori's up. Shot on the 1.
To Nat Bresnahan. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. This is not a league. You're watching Sharky Waters, where the Wednesday Night Dive is the name of the show. We're here at Sharky Waters Resort and Casino in Tacoma, Washington. We're in the pool hall. Sharky Waters is owned by Dom, our host of our show, and this is just something we do on Wednesdays to bring one of our favorite things out to the world, which is the game of pool.
Yeah, so we have a special guest on each week, and we interview them a bit in the beginning of the show and talk about tips and drills, maybe something to work on for your pool game if you'd like, and then we have a match to 7 in 9-ball between our host Dom every week and the special guest, and it's an interactive experience too. So feel free to ask us anything like you have been, and we love hearing from our fans. And
speaking of our fans, shout out to Christopher Morphus.
Just barely misses that in the side and almost throws it into the other side, but I don't know if Tori has a look on this or not. He might be tucked behind that fin.
Little combo there, and ends up with the 7 in the corner pocket.
That shot would be called a carom, where the cue ball goes off and you then use the cue ball to try to hit the object ball.
That's right. That's the distinction. 4 runs all the way around and stops right next to the cue ball.
With authority there into the side pocket with force, leaving him on the 5 here. Opted for a bank shot, didn't quite get it, and left Tori a pretty straightforward shot on the 5 into the corner. Tori busts out his trick shot of the night for a 3-rail into the corner. Didn't leave him exactly how he wanted on the 6, but he's going to make it work. Stop. Oh, he carom kicked that cue ball into the 8, making the 8, but cue ball followed it just a little bit too much and fell, giving Dom ball in hand on the 6.
Six doesn't quite land where I think he was hoping to land it. Dom's looking down the stretch.
He almost got lucky there and pocketed the 6, or I'm not sure how lucky it would have been because it would have been a tough shot on the 9, but Tori here's got sliver thin to go in the side or in the corner, or he could opt for safe or a bank. There's a bunch of options, and or carry him into the 9. And he opts for the safe shot, leaving Dom a couple tough choices. Just a little bit off on that 6. But left him right where Dom wanted and took advantage of it. Made that 6 and left himself very well on the 9 ball for the match.
Unreal finish by Dom. That's some of the best pool I think we've seen.
Very, very quality shots.
Shout out to anybody else from season 1, man. I'm handing out whoopings for rematches. Thanks for coming, Tori. We're not done with you, though. You got the break pot to do. Eric, you're up on that.
9-ball break.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tori's going to have another shot at the break pot. He remembers the rules from last time, but for everybody who's a first-time viewer or maybe forgot how it goes at home, we got, I believe it is $120 in our treasure chest back there. Eric.
Unfortunate to get the magic
Oh, I don't like the magic
Eric
rack
can
anyway.
verify that
That's the
in a
cheater rack.
second, but I think that's our 120. He says, yeah, and
Ooh, that sounded good.
it's a single rack of 9-ball.
I think I'm gonna
and
try and get the
Tori's
gang
gonna
to come,
break
you know,
and
the
needs to
kids,
make a ball on the
'cause I'll
break
have
and needs to
5.
make a legal make.
So Logan can be there. to play
All the
with
way
that.
out until the
I'm
9
pretty
goes
sure
down.
Brandon-
You can combo, you can carry on the 9. Luck counts. It's all
Don't mean
good.
to
No
bombard
magic
your house,
rack.
but I'm sure you
and
love
if
it.
he runs
Yeah.
it all the way out, he'll be taking home the cash in that treasure box.
Good luck, Tori.
You gotta play well.
And we are not breaking in the box. Or are we?
Yeah, totally.
He is breaking inside the box, as I understand the meaning from tonight's conversation
Ooh,
with
that
our
nice
fans.
move.
Oh man, he made a ton of balls, so many balls, but one of them happened to be the cue ball.
Jesus.
Fucker.
4 on the break. One of them you don't want to make.
That ends it quickly, but in an exciting way.
That's it for us, you guys. Thanks for joining us for the Sharky Waters Wednesday night dive, diving in with Tori Hayes. To everybody in the chat rooms, thanks for the comments and the likes and the shares. And everybody, we're going to go do pizza at our co-sponsor, Tips and Tomatoes. And thanks to the Breakpot sponsors, Clean Slate Billiards. That's me and Matt Wells. Don't forget to do your drills, get your practice in, and remember, perfect practice makes a perfect performance. Enjoy. Peace.